Today is July 26, 2013, about 5 p.m., and we're sitting with Gwen Rickerby. So thank you for coming.
Yeah.
If you just want to start with coming to Craig and...
Okay, well, I grew up in Craig because my parents and grandparents and family was here. And in 1980, I moved back to Craig after living a few years in Denver.
Okay.
And I became a police dispatcher.
Oh, wow.
And so that's where this story comes from, is the police department.
Okay.
And basically, one night, we start out a little bit more. We had a character around town. His name was Gene Hunt. He was, I don't think he was mentally deficient, but he was a little slow.
Okay.
But he took care of himself. He was never burdened anybody, but he was a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a girlfriend, and her name was April.
Okay.
And Gene liked to call anything and everything into the police department that he saw that was wrong. If there's a piece of paper on the street, he'd call in the police department. Get this piece of paper. If there's a stray dog, he'd call in.
Wow.
So, naturally, we just kind of got used to Gene Hunt calling in and saying, oh, there's such and such happening, and we'd kind of say, okay, we'll take care of it. So one night, he calls in about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, right at shift change, when all the officers are coming on duty and going off duty and all that kind of stuff. And he says, he had a really bad stutter. And he said, April's up in the tree. And she's trimming the tree branches. And she's hanging by the rope upside down. And I said, okay. How did this happen? Using a saw, and she cut the branch off. Well, there's the trunk of the tree and the branch, and she was standing on the branch, and she cut between the branch and the tree. She's upside down in the tree. I said, okay, I'll get somebody up there. Called the sergeant in the back room, and I said, Gene Hunt called, and April's hanging upside down in the tree. He said, yeah, right, we'll get to it when we can. And they waited, and they waited. They did the things they had to do, and they didn't go up to see about April hanging in the tree.
Oh, my goodness. So
Gene calls back, and he said, I need help. April's upside down in the tree. And, Sergeant, we need to get somebody up there. So they went up there, and she was probably 45 or 50 feet up in a tree, hanging upside down, the rope around her ankle.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
They called the fire department. They got a ladder truck up there and got her down.
Oh, my goodness.
Everything was okay, and we kind of figured that maybe we should respond to calls a little more quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Something was...
Because they may not always be.
No, we should have responded to that.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Wow. Wow.
Why was she in the tree to begin with?
She was trimming?
She was trimming the tree.
She was
trimming the tree branches.
Okay.
But she stood out here and out here.
Why was she tied to?
She had put a safety rope on herself.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
that was,
she did
I'm
have
assuming around the trunk?
Well, it was up in the tree somewhere. I don't know. I didn't.
So nothing.
But it was good enough to save her life.
Okay.
But we left her hanging there for...
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Not a good thing to do.
Wow.
That's not how a police department handles calls.
No.
No.
Wow.
We didn't get into trouble.
Oh my goodness.
What other types of calls would you get? I mean,
Well, one other one, we had a major power outage here,
oh, okay.
and I was the head of the dispatch center,
Mhm.
so they called me immediately when the power went out from Baggs, Wyoming to Meeker to Vernal to
Wow.
Steamboat. I mean, there was no power anywhere. The phones were going absolutely crazy. So I went down there and was helping to answer phones and explain things to them, and we found out that a raccoon had gotten into the big power station out south of town. Raccoon lived.
Oh, wow.
Really?
It was burned severely, so animal control put it down. But
Okay.
I had one guy call that I answered the phone for, and he said, "Yes, ma'am. Can you tell me how I would know if my power is out?"
Okay.
Sorry.
Did you explain it?
I said, "Do you have light?" "No." "Is your refrigerator running?"
Yep.
"No." "Power's probably out."
Right.
You know, goofy, silly stuff like that happened a lot.
If you're allowed to say, I don't
Mhm.
know what the specifications are, any serious crimes ever reported in Craig?
Oh, yes, we had a lot of murders.
Oh. How many is a lot?
Well, I worked down there for 20 years. One year we had 3 in the same year.
Wow.
And I would say probably one on average a year,
Okay.
which is quite a few for a small town.
Did you ever receive any of those calls if you're allowed to?
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
I did. And I also, after leaving dispatch, I worked myself up to the investigations and detectives and became the evidence custodian and had the title of crime scene investigator. I mean, it was not anything like you see on TV, but I did go out on a couple homicide cases and gather evidence and that kind of stuff. And
Did crime go up significantly during the boom?
during the boom, yes.
Okay. And what types of crime were common? Drunken public?
Well, yeah, a lot of that. Actually, I didn't come until the boom was almost over. I had been living in Denver
Right,
going to college
right,
and
right.
stuff for
Just remember that.
just a few years during the boom time, so I wasn't really here, but from what I've heard, they had, you know, lots and lots of bar fights and lots of,
Okay.
you know, I know of at least one homicide that happened down in the bar at the Golden Cafe. Just
Wow.
lots of stupid people.
Yeah.
Well,
Stupid activities.
not necessarily stupid people, just doing people doing stupid things.
Right.
You know.
Wow.
So you were there for 20 years?
Yep.
Not just in dispatch, like you said. You
Right. It was
went
the
out
police
to-
department.
In various capacities.
Right. So
Mhm.
how did you see, I guess, Craig change from the lens of working at the police department?
I saw not my hometown because you don't ever see happy people at a police department. You only see the bad.
Right.
Even the good people don't come to a police department unless they've had something bad happen to them. So you never saw happy people at the police department. And that was a big downer.
Has the police department grown at all since you came on?
Oh, yeah. I haven't had anything at all to do with the police department since I retired 14 years ago.
Okay.
I've never even been in the new building that I helped design.
Okay.
When did they design the new building?
We designed it in over a period of a couple of years, probably about 1998, and I think they started, I retired the end of March of 2000, and I think they started it that summer, and built it that summer.
Okay. Where is it?
Down on, it's the Justice Center, down the jail.
What was that process like of designing and going through all that?
We set up committees, and the police department formed a committee, and we said what we wanted to see in a building, and the sheriff's office decided what they would need in a building, and the state patrol said, well, we need
So everyone
these
came together.
Yeah, all three agencies came together, and we figured out common areas that could be used by all three agencies, and then areas that, just the police department needed, places that the sheriff's department would have specific needs for, like the jail.
Right.
They combined the evidence into one, instead of each agency having their own evidence area or thing, they combined all the evidence into one thing.
Is jurisdiction was that ever a problem? We learned today that, is it Yampa and Victory aren't city streets?
No, there's state highways.
They're state highways, so are those patrolled by local?
They are patrolled by local sheriffs, or city police.
Okay.
But state patrol also has jurisdiction.
Oh, it's joint jurisdiction there. Oh, okay. I was just surprised to hear. I didn't realize that it makes sense, but I didn't realize that it belonged to the city.
Yeah. They're city streets, but they're not city streets.
Okay. Any other stories you'd like to share?
Not that I can think of. There were tons and tons and tons of them, but I don't remember very many of them anymore. It's been a long time, but I told that story to Dan, and he just thought that was really funny.
It is. It's very comical.
It wasn't very nice.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Is there anything you wanted to share about your childhood and growing up in Craig? Like, what was it like?
Well, I don't know if my sisters told you or not, but Craig was a very small area. About Ranny, maybe over to Rose Street or Fortification Creek, and from maybe Victory Way down to 9th Street, Sandrock area. Very small area. And we weren't allowed to go beyond those areas.
Right.
And we kept a horse way out in the country. I mean, way out in the country. Where Taco Bell is now. We weren't allowed to go out there.
Right.
Without our parents.
Yeah.
So, and then we weren't allowed to go up to what they call the Indian Cave, which is not an Indian cave. My dad and Grandpa built it.
For the chickens?
The chicken house, yeah. That was too far away from home. We couldn't go up there.
Okay.
That was too far out of town.
So it was a very small area then?
Yeah. Yeah. But, a lot of times parents didn't know what we were doing.
No cell phones to check in?
Nope. Phone number was J42 or something like that.
Oh, so they had numbers on the phones for a while then?
Yeah. I think ours was J42.
J42. How long were those party lines around for?
Well, I remember when they went to the dial numbers, but they still had a lot of party lines.
Okay.
But then they changed our phone numbers to Taylor 4, and ours was 5841.
Okay.
So there was a time where both kinds of telephones were
Right.
around, and then eventually.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it would be like.
Well, we didn't have. They changed from the J42 style numbers to the 824. Taylor 4.
Right.
But 824. And then after it was Taylor 4, they just changed it to all new numbers.
Because they have 826 and things, right?
They have 826, and cell phone numbers are different. And we didn't used to have the area codes, and you just had to dial the last 4 numbers of the phone.
Wow.
Never had to dial the 824.
Yeah. Huh.
So other than the size of Craig and the phones and everything, what have been the biggest changes, do you think, for your
Population
growth?
growth.
Right.
One of the big things is that back in the 60s and 50s, we actually had stores here where you could go in and buy things, clothing and shoes, and we had a lot of stores. We don't have that now. You can't go someplace in this town and buy anything but a pair of Walmart tennis shoes. You can't go someplace and buy a nice party dress. And we used to be able to do that.
Right. I heard there was a really nice and well-known men's clothing store.
Several of them.
So.
There was Barrett's Men's Store, there was the Golden Rule Store, there was Wally's Western Wear. Women's stores were Marge Mar and Betty's Shop and the Golden Rule Store and Penny's, and we had all kinds of stores. And we don't have any shopping now. If you want to buy anything, you go to Grand Junction or Denver or someplace. Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what the big box stores have done to small towns.
No, go ahead.
What was school like for you, Craig?
Fun. We're getting ready to have our 50th class reunion right now. In charge of that, and yeah.
That's neat. Is it this year or?
Yeah, it's
like
in a month.
Oh, in a month. Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been planning, and is it easy to get people to come, or a lot of your class still here in town, or do you have to reach out?
We had 72 graduate in our class. We have 27 dead, and we've got I think there's 34 or 35 classmates coming. And just about all of them that are not coming are from Craig. I've had very little response from the people that still live in Craig. Just about all of them are coming from everywhere else.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Well, opposite of what I would.
Yeah, I would have thought the other two.
Very few of us from Craig are coming.
Wow. Is there a reason for that?
I think they just don't care about seeing anybody.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
Because they haven't contacted me.
What, if you don't mind me asking, what year was that? What was graduating year?
63.
Okay.
Yeah.
50 years.
Oh.
Incredible.
I'm not a...
Live your lives now, guys, because it goes by really quick.
We're coming up on our first milestone. 10 years.
Class reunion?
Just a couple years away for 10 years. It is going fast. It's going very fast.
It goes faster. I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I know it's kind of random, but
okay.
What's the process been like in planning, and, I mean, has it been easy, or?
Well, the first thing we had to do was decide if we were even going to do it.
Okay.
because a lot of people didn't care if we did or not. Then we had to find people, and after 50 years, some of that was pretty difficult. But coming down here, and the museum has helped us just tremendously. And then I've sent out like 4 mailings to people to find out if they're coming, or that kind of stuff. Then we've come down and got all the obituaries from everybody that's passed away, and wedding announcements, and just anything we could find from that era that pertained to our classmates. And we're putting that into a memory book.
Wow.
And, setting it up with the Holiday Inn, and just all that stuff that has to be done.
That's really neat.
I think we're just about there.
Well, how were you chosen to be? Did you just volunteer?
I just decided I wanted to have a class reunion, so I just started doing it.
Okay.
Because I know for our class, they appoint whoever was class president during our senior year, and but he didn't set up anything for 5 years, so.
I don't really see a point in 5 years.
No. Well, I've worked on all of our reunions. We've had one every year, or every 10 years.
Wow.
So I've worked on all the, every one of them. So.
Wow.
I just kind of took it on, and here I am.
That's really cool. What have you been doing since leaving the police department?
Playing?
Good answer.
I like to go to Arizona in the winter and go to see my daughter in Seattle every year if I can. And my husband and I, when he was alive, we traveled a lot, did a lot of things together. Now that I'm by myself, I still do whatever I want.
So how do you feel about Craig's current state? Just how do you feel about Craig today?
I can't think of any place I'd rather live, but I wish we had more businesses, more. I wish people would clean up their storefronts and the downtown area and, the residential area. I mean, it's gotten to be a dirty little town, and it never used to be like that.
Is there a reason for the change?
I think people just don't have any pride in things anymore.
Okay.
Just lazy. No, I shouldn't say they're lazy. They just have other things to do and don't think about it, I think.
Any closing remarks that you want to share?
Not that I know of.
Thank you.
It's a good place to live, and it's been a good life, and we have a lot of good qualities here. We have good infrastructure, good school buildings, good library, and I guess I have to say we have a good museum.
They left.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.